think I've got two main 2D games that really always top the list of like my general favourite games. Both Game Boy games. The first one is Wario Land. It's just like really fantastic game, because it sort of took the Mario formula, and messed around with it a bit, which was I found really interesting. It just plays really well. And Zelda Link's Awakening has just got so much to do, and the way the game sort of flows and you progress around the island, I really love that. If you compare that to like Spirit Tracks on the DS, it feels really empty, and all the progression is kind of artificial. So yeah, really enjoy those the retro Game Boy games. I think I'm inspired by a lot of different games, and generally just my love for games has always been sort of invigorated by different games. But like a specific example is an indie game called Stargirl and the Thief from the Exploded Moon, which is by Origami Hero. I played that about 2 years ago when I was making the original Treasure for the PC. There's really silly details like the walking animation is 2 frames and it go like whoop 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 as you walk along, and that's why I put that in Treasure. I think I just like how it's really tight, and I try and get that in my games as well. This might sound a bit cliche, but love, I think, is a good one. I just try and put a lot of love into games. Hopefully it shows through. Sort of put attention to detail into all the little aspects, make it fun, nice effects, just make it really feel polished. And also, treasure chests are really good. I like treasure chests. Zelda and Wario and Stargirl have treasure chests, which is something I realised when I was thinking about this interview, so maybe I'm a little obsessed. I think the main thing is it's co-op play, but the co-op is sort of more than just part of the mechanics of the game. I try to make it about the experience. So it's really it's meant to be enjoyed 2-player. It's not quite the same if you just play single player. Also, it doesn't have guns, which is... I can't really think of many co-op games that don't have guns. And the style is sort of retro, which is pretty common, but I try to make it as authentic as possible. I hopefully invoke some nostalgia in people. So I think, yeah, it's got its own little niche. I have a degree in computer game science from the University of Teesside in England, which is obviously quite directly related. Is technical things, programming, like graphics, algorithms, all that stuff. So that obviously helped there. And then the time I spent at uni, I put a lot of time into making games in my spare time. I got to know people like artist friends and things. And I really got into the indie game scene while I was there. So basically, being at uni really helped out. My usual flow for making a game is I'll start it without realising when I'm just doodling or doing a little pixel art mock-up or something, and I'll think, yeah, I'll make this into a game. So I keep doing more art. I don't plan anything. So I'll just do whatever I feel like as I feel like it. And even in Treasure, like the layout of the level design, I just picked a random size for the map and then started drawing stuff. So I sort of explored it in the similar way to the player will explore it. Just sort of found my way around the castle even though it didn't exist. So I think hopefully that aided that in some respects, the exploration aspect. Yeah, and it's only me making the games, so like I say, I just do whatever I feel like at the time, until about the last maybe 20% of a game, where I'll start a to-do list so that I can put stuff on there that I don't really want to do yet, and just put them off. I basically chose the Game Boy style from the start, because I was doing a mock-up in that style. That's where the game came from. So that sort of dictates the rest of the style because of the limitations of the style. Like the 4 colours, I tried to keep the small sprites and things that you could realistically get on the Game Boy. I think the limitations really forced me to try and make the graphics look as good as possible. Because you can't get away with just tweaking the colours on something. You have to think about how the whole sprite sort of works, and all the pixels fit together. Although I'm not actually that happy with them anymore. So if I do a sequel in the future, hopefully it'll look even better. I don't really have much to say on this one. It's a pretty simple game, so I basically just sort of chipped away at it. And nothing stands out as a major programming problem. Maybe in terms of the game design, one of the unexpected problems was the player being able to get completely stuck. I mean, I thought about putting restart points in, but I didn't want to overcomplicate it. So I did a fair bit of playtesting, and my friends managed to break the game plenty of times, but hopefully the Xbox one is pretty solid, I think, even though the PC one was actually broken. This is going to be kind of disappointing too, but I really can't think of anything. I'm not the kind of person who stuff happens to. I just I sit at home and I'm working on the game, and then I go to work, and then sit in the pub, and stuff just plods along. So it's kind of dull, but that's my life, I guess. I've got a few games in the pipeline. I've got a potential sequel to Treasure, and I want to make a top-down bullet hell shooter. But the main game I've got going on at the moment is called Upbot Goes Up. It's a puzzle game with robots that face in different directions. It's all grid-based, and they can only move in that direction. And the aim is to get them to push each other and get to the right place. So it's kind of Suckerban style, and really simple mechanics, but the puzzles get absolutely ridiculously hard. I'm making it with a couple of guys that I met from independent gaming source website. They'll be doing Flash and iPhone versions. Hopefully it'll be really awesome. Actually, it will be really awesome.